Alright boys, here we are back for part 2. We've just had a production meeting. We'll do our best here.
Another quick pot fly by the set. Well, what's different than most weeks? 2-minute production meeting.
See what we can cobble together. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the meeting at Flemington a couple of weeks ago. Okay,
2 weeks, yes.
So it was a day where there were a series of races, all bar one or two, where the top pick was fairly obvious, and like a number of them, I thought they'd drift later in betting, and they just got truckloaded because there was sort of no way of avoiding them, and all the big teams found them, and it was just...
That's a box tickers sort of thing. So what were they
just
for,
momentum.
for example?
So for instance, the horse to follow that we talked about,
wishful thinking.
It was,
just different circumstance change coming down the straight. It's only a second
ran
start. Ran well, but
and it had the
that's the thing. Like you tip
the
them
Godolphin horse that was always going to hang in.
Yeah.
Just kept running it into what was the slightly worse ground.
Yeah, no, it ran well, but then we say the horses to follow. It's like Commando Miss. I tipped her to follow, and then she's like a month between runs onto a bog track and off a dry track at Cranbourne, and she was 220 or something. So you tip them as horses to follow, and they turn up and say, "Oh, I don't really want to be on here today, but I want to follow you in the future."
When we said that horse is a horse to follow, I never, in my wildest dreams, imagined it'd go around at even money at Flemington
down the straight.
It just doesn't make sense. So
that's
there it is. That was one. Shawnee got back into even money, a back marker with Craig Newitt in a big field. Like, how on earth? Who marked it even money? Someone did.
Did we?
No,
didn't we?
Plotted into about fifth. But you can't really, the problem is, the winner was a horse that you'd backed at Bendigo the previous start.
Heavenly Emperor,
Heavenly Emperor, it's improved, and just if I look at the raw rating, it's had to have improved 5 to 6 lengths. It just seems like a big jump, but it's not. It happens this time of year.
Yeah, sometimes it went good first up. So
the ones that won were Dr. Drill, so it was the one that made sense to me because it was the map and the top radar, so we just controlled it off it went. David Brightoak's mare.
Oh yeah.
The one that won with the blinkers on at Warrnambool and won again. I don't remember her name. She got out of trouble and just...
Kingsbrook.
Kingsbrook. There you go.
Yeah, that was never a horror watch for those backers.
Yeah. No, that was one of them. It's hard not to mark it, 2:30 and
Never going to win.
Never going to win. Falls over the line. Iconoclasm. So I marked Iconoclasm. It was a big field, lots of talented horses in the field. Maybe a bit out of form, some of them, but there were alternatives in that race for sure. And I'm thinking there's going to be enough interest in several of these other runners that it's got to drift. It's got to get out to north of $3. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I think it might have been 280 in the morning. There was some mid-morning move. It's gone around 220 on the toes. It was just relentless. It just never looked like drifting ever. Missed the start out of play after 50 metres. Yeah. And in the same race, because I'm looking at as they're going the barrier, there's got to be some horses at crazy prices in this race. Now, admittedly, the horse was first up and he hasn't won for a while, but Federal's if you pick the best rating in that race, he was probably the best horse in the race, really. Admittedly,
just
form that was 2 years old.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. But he had a heap of trials, and they were in Sydney, and they'd sent him down here, and he was obviously fit enough to do something first up. I took 200 to 1 on Betfair. He's come from last, and he's been beaten a net. Right, so
nothing to place. Nothing to place.
Nothing to know. I think I had $50 on it. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. What gets me is that here's two horses with probably similar ability. One's still on the way up, but younger, and the other one's probably exposed and past the best. But the difference is even money and 200s. It's just staggering.
It's crazy.
I think that's the way they price is that 5 or 6 in a race literally have no price.
Yeah.
So where you might have 15-20%, they got 0, and they just crunch all that into the top picks.
Yeah.
And as you pointed out on Saturday, we nearly had one win there. Very narrow photo, Street Chic and Travi, my friend.
Yeah. I advanced the Betfair it was one of the few races I watched at Sandown on Saturday. I think it was around $280 on the jump.
Have you, my friend?
Yeah. So it's just been outbobbed.
Unfortunately, backing those horses, there's a long run of outs in it.
Yeah.
And a lot of, as you say, a lot of heartbreak. But, there are opportunities at that end of the market at the moment, because I think to claw back what's been taken out of the markets by the point of consumption tax and the higher percentage, the computer terms are almost anything that's there's a number of runners in each race where they just completely bin them. Like,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
10,000 to 1.
And they
You
pull
know
that
what I
into
mean?
the top few picks.
Yep.
If you can find one of those runners that you think's actually got a 50 to 1 chance,
Yeah.
there's actually, I mean,
You'll get a
I
lot
know
bigger
it's
than that.
marginal.
Yeah,
I know taking 200 to 1 about a 50 to 1 shot's marginal value. There's not really much edge in it. There's a very small edge, but I'm saying there is something there. And
Just speaking from an early market compiler's point of view, I haven't done it for a while now,
Yeah,
but
no.
you even longer. But we used to do that, and one of the things, it's sort of irrational in a way, but if you put up a favourite 250 and you're late and it wins at 230, you don't feel too bad about yourself. Even though it's quite a few percent there, you've missed by.
Yeah.
But you think, oh, that's ballpark. But if you lay one at 33s that wins at 12s, you want to jump off a bridge,
Yeah,
and it's about
yeah.
the same, it's about the same percentage.
Yeah.
So those ones, say 20s or double figures and above, you go, oh, you're trying to invent ways of, oh, have I missed something here? It could be a chance. Do I want to lay it at 25s?
That's right. Yeah.
so that's the old-fashioned way. And I'm saying, so this is something we didn't discuss. We sort of touched on in part 1, but good time to discuss it now. It's been reversed. The corporates are, as you mentioned, DK, shoveling all the over round into the top 2 or 3 picks, and they're trying to mark all of those fringe dwellers. They're doing the opposite of what Rat just described when they used to do it. They're saying, we don't care if we get picked off on a couple of these, because it won't be for much.
Yeah.
Yep.
It won't be for much, and it'll come into the right price pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So they don't mind putting up 50s about what might be a 20s chance.
I mean, in the smaller fields, they're still cushioned by so much percentage that they're not big overs anyway, those horses.
And then there's the backup of Betfair generally as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's throwing them out late as well.
Yeah.
So it's, interesting times. What's been happening in Sydney, mate? This time of year, a bit quiet up there with the...
The field sizes the last month or so have been fantastic.
It's interesting to know about Sydney.
Yeah, midweeks not so much. They've had a fair bit of racing lately too, but the Saturdays are holding up sensationally. You're getting basically like an open handicap, a couple of 88s, some 78s. A recent-ish innovation I've liked is the introduction of 3 and 4-year-old races this time of year. Midweek we've got some 2 and 3-year-old maidens as well. I think it's just a great idea. Mix those pools of young improvers up a bit. Get rid of the 6-7-year-old deadwood, and you've got horses on the up. Really interesting betting medium too. The fields have been good and deep on the Saturdays. A lot of the jockeys are away, which leaves a lot of opportunities for claiming apprentices.
Who's going good up there?
Well, no one's missed him. Robbie Dolan is the Irish
Dolan?
kid is the most promising.
What's his name?
Robbie Dolan.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how much Sydney races on Thursdays. That is the first time I've ever heard that name.
There you go.
Is that right? No, he's
I
very
don't
promising rider coming from Ireland.
Aggressive, or what's his go?
Good race reader, nice hands, nice balance. He's not. He's aggressive. He's good in the finish. Absolutely. He's just a competent rider, and he's got about a 2 kilo claim at the moment, I think. So yeah.
Bonus.
Even Samantha Clinton's been as riding winners at Rosehill on a Saturday. So you've got to be a bit more flexible with your jockey assessments, And I don't think it's never a great idea to, if a horse on form has a good chance, go, oh, he's right. I made this mistake on Saturday actually. He's riding it no way known. That's never a good thing to do. There's some sort of figure penalty you should be applying, and it's not 100%. There was the favourite in the last horse called Capperjack who, stand out in form. The early markets put it up $1.55, but the jockey was a kid.
Quackerjack.
No, this is Capperjack.
Right.
Quackerjack ran on the same day. This is a different horse.
Back on Derby Day. In the Carbon Club.
Kid called Brock Ryan was riding the favourite last. Now his career Metro stats before Saturday were 5 wins from 230 rides. And he's $1.55 in the early markets, and I'm thinking, I'm betting around this on principle. It got out to about 2.15, and he rode it perfectly. And he drew barrier 1 as well in a biggish field. I thought, this would be awful. He stuck it right up in the box seat. They found on the turn. He went 1 by about 4. And I wasn't going to be interested at 2.10 anyway, but I probably shouldn't have been betting around him like I was.
Yeah, I had the same thing.
I sort of anchored him, so right, we've got to bet against B Ryan.
Was that a Rosehill on Saturday?
Yeah, yes.
They used to have, I'm putting back my, pre-2008 or 2010 Sydney hat. thinking that used to happen a lot at Rosehill, where the jockeys would overdo the getting off the
Yeah,
rail.
and they didn't really need to. On Saturday, the rail was at 6 to start.
The winners all end up getting up and underneath
Yeah.
from inside
Yeah.
draws, and you think, God, this is frustrating.
Yeah. But Quackerjack, the real Quackerjack, he didn't win. He'd won the previous Saturday round wicket about $1.90 or something.
Right.
Led and it was okay. Nothing flash sectionally or overall time. Backing up to 1800 first time on Saturday, and they put him up 210 in a massive field. He got out to $6 or
Wow.
something.
There you go.
And did not win. but he was a bad $2 shot anyway.
Yeah.
And I actually marked him around 450, I think. And I thought, oh, just beautiful. We'll bet against him. The market actually tuned into the winner, which I had sort of equal favourite. It started jumping to $3 favourite against an original even money favourite. You know, just total switch around.
Yeah. In the old days, it would have been a fill-up race, sort of that.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
So
And I was
just tune in. So
I think that's an interesting, what we're just discussing, interesting to discuss. I think the turnover in jockeys in Sydney over the past 5 years has been a lot more significant than it has been in Melbourne. It's the same old suspects here, really. You know, we've still got Craig, Ollie, and Dunn.
They're all over 40, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Mark Sarr, of course.
Mark Sarr's had his holiday, just came back.
D-Lane.
D-Lane's dominating. Nash, is he coming back up there? I saw he's back
But
at
I'm saying new jockeys in the mix. Would there be a jockey in the top 20 in Victoria that we could come up with that Mark might not have really have any awareness of? I think we'd struggle.
They're all the same old faces.
Yeah, Curry and all these guys.
Oh no, even the young ones. So Tio Nugent, you'd be.
Oh, Tio
Nugent. Lewis German, he's an up and comer.
Yep.
Harry Grace is trying.
He's
trying. Harry.
Some of the girls. Nugent's the whiz kid at the moment, isn't he?
Jamie Carr's the new.
Yeah.
The new player in the mix here. She's a really interesting jockey. To me, I've got to try and find horses that suit her.
Yeah.
What?
There's one.
Low draws.
Yeah.
She's good low draws. Very soft hands from the low draws.
Yeah.
Gets them to trouble.
Yeah. She gets them to travel beautifully.
Yeah. But, Jay Allen's dominating. He's just got suspension. He's going home for a month or something, so he's catching up. But full credit to him what he's done since his main supporter. Well, hit the weir stopped, and then he's gone, and every big stable's basically using him now.
Yeah.
And he tuned into Philip Stokes straight away. But Mick Kent's using him.
He's got a few mates that are of that same background. Like Declan Bates, he can get some certain horses going. There's another one too. Who's the other one?
There's like Neil Farley, he's another Irish, but I was in the same boat. If he's on it, I'll find a way around him on principle. He's ridden about 4 winners in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, right. It's called anchoring bias, and you should try to avoid it.
No, he wouldn't.
Now, the most perplexing jockey for me in the Metros is Dunn, because he's got so many assets, but he's also got weaknesses, right? So it's always a mixed bag with him. But as soon as so I didn't go hard. So I backed Dogmatic at Ballarat with Jessica Payne riding. Then he went to Caulfield, and I thought, inside draw Dunn, I'll just avoid this race. And that was the opportunity to get another really good result out of that horse. And when that day, Dunn was peerless. He was outstanding.
4 winners on him.
Yeah. And then on Saturday, he was back to being, a bit, all over the place again. So it's never easy.
No,
and I agree with you. There's no 100%, because the reason there's no this jockey's riding it, pen goes through you.
Yeah.
The reason you can't do that is really simple, because the horse is more important in the end.
The horse is the most important thing for sure. Yes.
The next most important thing is the jockey, right? So it's the hardest factor to quantify consistently, because they all have their ups and downs, and as you've seen several times, DK, the minute you pop one publicly, they'll just decimate you for the next.
A law of the universe.
Law of the universe. It is. But
even a jockey you might consider the worst going around can pull out a good ride, and the best can put in a shopper as well. I'm not saying you forget about it. You've got to. It's a massive factor. But
the map's the other thing.
Yeah.
They're going up the front, like you said. Brock got that horse into the box seat instead of being 3 back the fence. And things like that. So they can get them. If the horse can get itself up the front, it's a big help.
Massive.
I was going to send something out the other week. I've noticed Mick Price, and they've just been joined by Mick Kent Jr., but they've been on the ratings to win on their trainer stats. So it was as low as you'd see a big metro stable. Tom Gilmore or something did tweet it out that it might have been 2 from 100 or something like that. And then I was just saying, if you're going to ask me for horses to follow, we had he won a maiden at Maui on Tuesday, I think called Scorpius. No, it's 3 back the rail on a bog track and just went whooshka in the straight. Won. No? Then 2 days later at Seymour, he had 2 horses. Oriental, well, the winner was Oriental, and there's a stablemate, Michael Walker. Anyway, it went. Ollie was on 1. Mick Price had 4 runners in the race. Ollie was on 1. MD, M Walker, and Z Spain.
Yeah.
So I sort of said, well, Ollie be on top. Pick, he got scratched leg barriers, but anyway, so I had, the Z Spain one went whooshka, beat the stablemate, and then at Swan Hill, he had a thing. First starter, just didn't trial any good, 40 to 1, around the same time as the Topaz, beat a stablemate for his first starter, and then so I tuned in. Ollie was on 1 at Mornington, I think, on the following Monday night, guy or something.
Was that
brave enough? Yeah. 40 to 1.
Yeah, 40 to 1 was
whooshka.
wow.
Just went terrific and beat a stablemate. Stablemate went good as well in the race. So I was
trying to rate that race yesterday. I'm thinking, how am I going to scratch a man thinking, how am I going to rate this race?
Yeah, it's the same, around the same time as the Topaz.
Yeah.
So very hard to get, because they ran good at tempo, but and then then he had a nice one. But it just shows you, I didn't say anything, but then he had all those winners, debutant. They're all 2-year-old debutants or first uppers, all in the same week. So got some nice cattle there, but just obviously quiet time of year. So I follow any of them. They're all nice horses, by looking.
Yeah.
Very good sections and things. Anything from you, Rat?
Not off the top of my head,
sorry.
No.
You found a winner somewhere at the weekend on the good odds or something, didn't you? What was that?
No, had a good winner at Hawkesbury last Sunday, a long weekend. But and I found one on Wednesday. I was actually didn't have a collect for the poor old subscribers on Saturday, but we didn't do much damage, and there were a lot of favourites went over, which is a day I could do a bit of damage on. So we went unscathed, but it wasn't bad. It could have been what it was, so I wasn't too unhappy about that.
Those days.
Yeah.
So the final thing we can discuss, I suppose, is height of winner here for us, DK. So we've got the dual hemispheres of synthetic versus heavy tracks. How's that?
That's a real problem. It's a real problem. For giving them off the poly, I'm sort of getting a handle on that. A lot of them are not going a yard on it, or if they're failing below their SP.
At Ballarat in particular, or both?
Probably Ballarat to start with, because the kickback's pretty bad there at the moment. But so I won. I was happy I forgave it. Ordell. So I forgave Ordell. He went from failing first up on the heavy, on the poly, and then he went onto the heavy track at Geelong on whenever that was. Was that Friday or something? And he of course got beat a pimple by that bald eagle. Dingo. Well, he's not a dingo. He's a one batter 2,000 metres. His first up at 1,200 is the best. Take him on. And Ordell got stuck out the back and charged late, missed by that much with 100 to 1 third and 200 to 1 a length away fourth. So, and the favourites won by that much. Like, it's difficult. But yeah, so I was happy. I said, well, that's good. I forgave that horse. I marked him off his turf stuff. But yeah, it's had one in today. Ran good first up on heavy. And now it's 1,400 on poly. What do you do? Like, it's 1,100. It's just.
So I backed a couple in the last 2 weeks off the poly. So one was and that was a blue on my part, was David Hayes' thing that flew at Pakenham, but had over a month between runs.
Does it matter? No. The win its maiden at Pakenham. Anyway.
I don't know if it was a maiden. I think it might have already won a maiden at Seymour.
So it went on to what? Went on to heavy?
It went on to a testing track at Sandown. And did absolutely nothing. Like it flew on it. But it had a month between runs.
Well, that's the other thing. It's got to be perfect,
Yeah.
Would you rather not?
Quora. With the Q.
Yeah, Quora.
Would you rather not have it?
No, I don't mind. You got to cop that some of them just completely fall over and some of them improve. And then I backed Clean Achiever last Wednesday at Sale, which won courtesy of a really good ride by Ben Allen from an inside draw in the last race. That's that like Rose Hill thing.
Yes.
Just getting up underneath them and saving a bit of ground. And she'd come off a synthetic run at Ballarat, where I think she closed really strongly through the field. I think if you see that, that's a really good sign. That's a horse with a lot of determination, willing to go through that kick back.
Exactly.
So it's a lot of them will just turn it up when they're in that.
Yeah, and the jockeys have got a lot to do with the poly, obviously, because it's momentum and things.
Yeah.
So you're either winning wide and getting on your bike, or you're up the front and doing with the momentum and things like that. But I noticed the horses having their second start on it, benefiting. Yeah. And if they're not handling it and the train doesn't, they're taking it away. We've also got the problem with Seymour still. So Seymour, Troy Corson's tweeted out one of his horses there, the Black Eye, and Graham Big came on and said, yeah, I sent 2 round there, Calm Your Farm and something else. Both came home with black eyes. So they're copying kickback on the turf. So you've got to make excuses for them. I looked at how they all finished, now what do you do? So anyway, just all the stuff, but it's tough. It's a tough time of year, Potts, with the changing surfaces.
Yeah, well,
they've just got to do robots to mark them off their previous turf form or previous,
That's true. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying that for us, we've got the opportunity to pick and choose our mark, and I think
we've got to be doing more of that.
This is a time of year where you've got to be. So what my punters will notice, there's been a few less bets than normal, but we've been going okay. We're keeping ourselves in play because you can't win without taking risks, but there are some risks that aren't worth taking.
Yeah, so it's just it. You've got Quagmire Geelong Friday, and then we've got Ballarat Poly today, Pakenham Poly tomorrow. Yeah. So it's just we just have to deal with it. That's the way it is, or we wouldn't have any racing. Yeah. So anyway, on would we go?
There we go. We did all right. That wasn't bad. We managed to fill up 20 minutes. Hopefully the punters enjoy it. Cheers, punters.